good day to stay on. Now's your chance.
Always pleasing to come back from Carrow Road for a win, and a win that I actually think was, full of so many traits that Norwich haven't displayed under Daniel Farke enough, in all honesty. Today we saw self-confidence, we saw doggedness, resilience, and I think they needed to display that against a Middlesbrough side who came into this game full of momentum, full of form, and defensively really sound. I think anyone that expected Norwich to perhaps take Middlesbrough apart were dreaming a little bit, because that was never simply going to happen. The way they defended with their centre halves and their midfield, it was all very compact and centralised in terms of their shape when they defended, and I think that allowed Norwich to use the wide area as well, where I think they had a lot of joy through Aaron's, Buendia, Lewis and Hernandez, I think, as I say, Norwich, particularly given such a blow pre-game with the news of Grant Hanley, I think, looked very self-confident, very self-assured. It was, it was a confidence that I haven't seen from, a Norwich side display, particularly under Daniel Farke, and that I haven't seen in a while, I don't think. So that made the win all the more, pleasing, I suppose. But it's a long time since I've come out of Carrow Road and felt like I did today, which was full of positivity. I mean, before this game, you have to ask anyone. There were plenty of question marks surrounding the capability of Daniel Farke, and the ability of this Norwich City side. And, those questions perhaps weren't answered fully today, but they were certainly silenced. And I think performances like that are going to win you friends very quickly. You looked at the lineup, I think there was a pretty negative response to it, all in all, from certainly what I saw. But I got what Norwich were trying to do. They were trying to make that base of the side, that spine of the side, really solid, and that's why Stiepermann came in. And I think with Pukki, the idea was to try and play almost sort of a false nine and sort of come away from their centre-backs, because any battle with them was going to be lost. I think the smallest was 6'3" or something like that. So, getting engaged in any sort of physical battle, Norwich were going to be second best to. And for me, there's two ways really to beat a Tony Pulis side, and that is you either do what they do and do it better, which for me is very, very tough, or you play football. Norwich opted for the latter. I thought for, pretty much the whole game, actually, I thought they were excellent in terms of how they moved the ball and how, their phases of play I thought were a lot better today, because they had players like Buendia and Hernandez who got the ball and were forward thinking. They had Mo Leitner, who played in almost a quarterback role, and he looked full of confidence. He was playing passes that 3 games ago he would simply didn't want to play. You've got that base with Teti, who protected the centre halves. You had energy at fullback. There was an equilibrium that I don't think we've seen from this Norwich team for a while, and certainly something Farke struggled with since he came in is the balance of that midfield. I think he got it spot on today, and I think Teti and Leitner are probably the way to go there. You've got a bullish, no-nonsense central midfielder who's not pretty. He knows what he is. And you've got Mo Leitner, who gets criticised, perhaps rightly at times, for his lack of end product, but often he's the player before the assist or the player before the goal. And I think there's so much to be positive about, but ultimately lose Wednesday and this positivity is crushed. Norwich have built foundation for themselves to go and push on and build on, and attempt to now try and win games of football, answer some questions and push up the league, because it's not been a great start. I think there's no hiding that. But it's all about response, and this league is all about momentum and putting runs together at right times. And if Norwich want to do anything this year, they're going to need to replicate that level of performance multiple times. And what made today even more pleasing is the fact in the majority of games we've seen this season, Norwich have had spells in games. They've had half an hour, they've had 15 minutes, they've had 20 minutes where they've looked really impressive. Today it was from the first minute to the last minute. I thought they were excellent. Not just in their defensive play, I thought they were pretty decent on the ball. Perhaps a little bit, again, got a little bit stuck over their feet and overplayed a bit at times. But there was a lot more forward thinking. It was a lot quicker. It was a lot more intelligent football, I thought. And Norwich do that, and I think they'll win more than they lose. But ultimately, they've got a week now of tough games. We've got Reading away on Wednesday, a side who are languishing, at the wrong end of this table. They're going to be determined. Want to beat Preston today, so that for itself makes an engaging encounter, I think, and then QPR on Saturday. So Norwich have to take this rhythm and take this momentum and take this positivity all into that game against Reading. And if they can do that, we'll see where we are. For a full written analysis on today's fixture, visit TalkNorwichCity tomorrow morning, which will be Sunday, for my thoughts in full on today's game. And yeah, a good win, hopefully something to build on now for Norwich City and Daniel Farke.